Laura Lee Ortiz, the executive director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, is here to talk about Governor Richardson's announcement yesterday about his new DWI initiative. So there's a lot of elements to this, some of them increasing mandatory jail time. Let me start there. First offense, 3-day mandatory jail time, and increasing the fine from $500 to $2,500.
Correct.
What do you think?
You know, what's interesting is that the majority of the offenses that occur, especially when it comes to a death and crash standpoint, come from someone who is a first-time DWI offender, close to 70% of those. So I think we're really looking at deterring and what kind of deterrence could there be, and often the realization that you could go to jail or pay $2,500 is certainly a deterrent.
Do you think, though, 3 days is going to make that big of a difference?
It doesn't change the behavior necessarily, but I think 3 days in jail could be a real eye-opener to someone who's, especially if they've never been to jail before.
Okay. Another one is to change, right now, the fourth DWI is a felony in New Mexico, and
yes,
he wants to change that to a third.
Correct. That happens in many other states throughout the country, and again, it's just such a serious offense, and it's a very, very complicated charge by the time you get to that third one, that we really feel that that would be in line with what would be a good thing for New Mexico to keep our communities safe.
But as we've talked about year after year, a lot of what we see is that often they're pled down. So it's it's a felony charge, and it gets pled down to possibly a misdemeanor. There is a proposal to not allow them to plead down if they've refused a breath test.
Correct.
But that's only if they refuse.
That's correct.
They'd still be able to plead down, correct, in other cases?
In other cases, that's correct.
Do you think that's enough, though, to deter?
We believe it is. We believe it's a great start in the direction that we need to go in order to continue the great work that's been done over the last 5 to 7 years.
Another one of the big ones that a lot of people are talking about is that prosecutors would now have the option of charging a person who kills someone in a DWI crash with second-degree murder instead of right now, which it is vehicular homicide.
Correct.
But it would give them the discretion of doing that, correct?
It would give them the discretion of doing that, and that would be for something that, as Governor Richardson puts, is in a very heinous crime. So there would be a lot of circumstances that could contribute to that. It could be the level of the breath alcohol concentration. It could be prior DWI arrests and convictions that could come into play. So there's a number of factors that would come into play before a prosecutor would make that decision.
From what you've seen going to the legislature every year during this session, all of these are proposed, so lawmakers would have to pass them.
Correct.
Do you think these have a chance of passing?
We certainly hope so. New Mexico has always been a leader when it comes to DWI reform, and we hope that these will go through, and that we know with the recent crash that killed such young children, it's happening still. It's very unfortunate, and we want to do something to make a difference, and we hope this will do that.
Do you think these do go far enough at the point that we are at in New Mexico, or we need to go even tougher?
I think if we could get these passed through and then not plead down on a number of other cases as the recommendation of the report, we would definitely have a better system in place.
Is there anything else that MADD would like to see specifically besides what the governor's proposed?
In our court monitoring report, which is on a website that anyone can have access to and read, what we'd like to do is make sure that prosecutors don't necessarily offer pleas and that judges don't accept pleas at times when we're looking at plea downs.
And that may have to be law, though, to keep that from happening, correct?
Not necessarily. From the refusal standpoint, it would be, but not from another standpoint, from the regular refusal.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking with us. We appreciate it.